In this DC Dark Legion video, we're going to go all the way to the beginning. What type of rosters can you put together to just at least help you out while you're starting the game and you get familiar with the Bleed Calendar? Alright, so for this video, I went all the way back. That's right, I started another account. And in this one, you can see here, I'm at level 12. So it's fairly developed, but at least it kind of gave me an idea going back as to which heroes I was able to get into the account early. And now the things have changed a little bit because we can do the exercises here with the portal and then push a little bit to try to collect some of these characters as well. So this also helps out here in terms of getting an idea of what you can possibly put together as you are starting the game. Okay, so first thing is first, let me show you exactly what I have been able to collect here. And this is about a week old. So like I said, level 12, just been plug playing, trying to level things up. But the main goal here was just to see what type of characters I could bring into the account, just to give me an idea. And then we can talk about the compositions that you can possibly put together. All right, so here for this example, though, the one exclusive hero that I think we're gonna have to point out here is Donna Troy. So there is currently an event going on for her. I imagine that later on after the event is over, maybe Donna Troy would be somebody that you can pick up just from the classic mythic characters that are available in the games. Let me show you at least how everything's set up here at the beginning. Again, I did not spend in this account. This is all with the resources that I was able to acquire through the game by doing the quests and trying to do as much of the world map as I could just to collect some fragments and try to see how far along I could develop some of these heroes. So if we look at the Justice League, and this is primarily what you're going to be playing with, to be honest with you, is you can see here Wonder Woman is going to be the key, Green Arrow is going to be the other one, and then Mira. Those three are basically going to be their staple to start early on. And then you can kind of plug and play with the other heroes that you are able to summon if you do any of the Bleed heroes, especially if you're starting out with Superman, because that is the first one. So this is a server that's already been going and is active. So right now, Satan is running, which is not a good example. But either way, you have here characters that are going to be available to you. So somebody like Adam here, he can be used for control, similar to something like Aquaman can do here. And I was able to get him 3 whites already. So he's almost there in terms of his really having some utility. Ideally, we want to put him all 5. But Aquaman works very well if you are able to put a Justice League team together. So that's kind of the setup here. Now, I have not put Stargirl into my level sync yet, but primarily she's a debuffer. She's supposed to clean. So if you do want to use her, you're going to want to use her for the drown. All right, especially if you're a free-to-play low spend, because you can't brute force it. So you're going to have to try to make sure that those water stacks don't get on you. And that's essentially what her utility is going to be for. All right, let me show you here the Bat Family. Of course, we have Red Hood, and he is going to be, he's going to come into play in some compositions, especially if you need some type of AoE damage. Batgirl, we need to get him a little bit started up so she can actually buff the heroes. And I was able to actually get Batman from Mother Boxes. That's how I unlocked them. So you just have to luck out. If you don't buy the initial pack here that they offer you, I think it's $5. No, it's $2. It essentially just gets you a level 25 Batman right off the bat. If you do not spend on that, you're just gonna have to come here and get into the Mother Boxes, and hopefully you can get him from the gold or the red one just to unlock him. But at least for this account, this or very early account, I was able to unlock him, but he is not leveled yet. All right, let's look at the Arkham North one. So the one that is really missing here, and I hope that eventually I get unlocked, and hopefully for you that you are able to get her right away, is Poison Ivy. She's excellent. She is phenomenal. She's a very good healer. That's one that you can use for your primary team or a secondary team. But right now we're relying on Mira. But that's the one that I would say would be one. Two-Face. Two-Face is more like a booster. Essentially what he's going to do is that he's going to boost a hero like Joker. But he is available in the bleed, right? So you're not going to get him right away. You can definitely, if you wanted to, put him in a composition with the fire powers. So by the fire powers, I mean the ones that have these icon here that are range units. So if you wanted to, you can probably put a composition together with them. But really at this point in time, I'm not going to use them too much. I'm going to be possibly more relying on somebody like Catwoman and Bane. This guy is going to be good, especially in the early game. So I would say rely on him if you can. I would say Justice League Dark is really a composition that you really start thinking about once Constantine comes into the picture. That's when you're going to probably want to use them. But if you can unlock somebody like Dr. Fate, maybe for a second team, provide the shields, that would be perfect. And the Legion of Doom. Yes, very much a whale composition because we have Sinestro in here and we have Deathstroke. Now, you're going to have to make the decision if you're going to chase either one of those two heroes in the bleed, but there are a couple of characters here that you can use very early on, and there is a possibility for you to also rely on Captain Cold because he provides CC. So there's a little bit of a roster here that you can put together if that's what you wanted to do. Teen Titans, again, Donna is an exclusive hero going on for the event, so I wouldn't rely too much on it. But as you can see here, I haven't really unlocked too many of the heroes, so that's not an option for me. Birds of Prey, yes, we're going to actually, there's some situations here where we can use Harley Quinn, so that's an option there. Let's talk about type of compositions that you can put together. So let's just go in the portal here. Might as well, right? Because this is essentially what we're going to be pushing upon once we start leveling up our heroes. So you can kind of see here the idea that I had very early on trying to toy around with. So essentially the centerpiece for me is going to be, as a defender, is going to be Wonder Woman here. And then I have Green Arrow in the back and I have Harley Quinn. I am going to use her early on because it's a free hero. This hero is AoE. Does very good damage, and here we were trying to try out Donna. But let's say for this example that we do not have Donna. Well, in this situations here is I did unlock a couple of characters that would be a luxury to have, like Bane and Dr. Fate, but definitely you can rely on somebody like Killer Croc here, all right, for the stun control. So you're going to be able to control these two while these two do damage. So this is kind of one example here. So let's just go ahead and run it. You can kind of get an idea how this then runs. And there goes the animation. So there goes Captain Cold. He's going to freeze us. But essentially what it is Killer Croc is going to push to the front and start doing damage to the back line. So the tanks go down, and now we can just focus everything up front. There is Mira. Mira is doing phenomenal healing here at the very early stages, and you can just finish things off with Harley Quinn and Green Arrow. Now Green Arrow is a couple of blue stars here, so you can kind of see that he does very good damage. And Harley Quinn, even without having any stars on her yet, she does damage as well. So those were the primary two. You saw here Mira doing a lot of healing, and then of course here we have the defenders that we're going right on top. Now the other way that you can go about this, if you need control, a little bit of control, you want to rely. Now let's say let's bench Green Arrow here for a minute, and I'm going to put in Black Adam. Black Adam does decent spiritual damage. That is definitely somebody you can rely on if you want. So for this purposes, what I'm going to do is that I am going to take Wonder Woman out. I'm going to put him, Killer Croc, in, and I'm going to use Captain Cold here to provide some type of CC. And so eventually what I'm going to try to do is take advantage of the extra energy that I'm gathering by using the LOD, the Legion of Doom tag, and that's essentially what I'm going for here. Also, there's a combination here with the Suicide Squad. So by deploying the Suicide Squad, I am getting a boost in attack here by 20%. So let's run this comp and see how it does, at least at this level, just to give you an idea. So again, There comes the push from Killer Croc. And I'm hoping that Captain Cold can at least do some CC while it allows Harley Quinn and Black Adam in the back to do some damage. So this is kind of what I've been toying around with, right? Just trying to get ideas of what I can do with these compositions as we go on and progress through the early game. And they're going to finish it off here. Perfect. Here we go. And you set a control by Captain Cold. So at least it provides you some type of utility there, right? All right. So here's another example. So there could be a reliance here for you on the Justice League, because those are going to be the heroes that are going to be readily accessible to you. So let me back up a little bit. So what I'm going to do here is that I am going to use Adam. All right, Adam provides CC, perfect. And I'm also going to bring in Wonder Woman to take the front. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep using Green Arrow, because that is one of the heroes that I get very early on. And as you can see, I got fairly enough shards to level him up. So let's use him. Now, given that I have the Justice League put together, let's use Aquaman. Aquaman is just put things together and allow Green Arrow to do what it needs to do alongside here with Adam. So let's run this and see if it is successful. So we'll go ahead and get it started. And the only worry here that I have is with Penguin, right? Because Penguin, he'll release his bombs, and so it could complicate things. But here we go. This is what we wanted to see, right? So Aquaman kind of puts things together, does damage, does control. It prevents them from doing their basic attacks. Perfect. Now we have a way to control it. Now we have a way for Green Arrow to finish things off from the back as a range unit. Another hero that I like here that I don't have yet is Shazam, because Shazam can actually taunt people and at least distract while everybody else is coming at you. All right, so let's look at the damage card just to get you an idea. So this is exactly what I was going for. Most of the damage here came from Green Arrow, but there is some damage coming from Aquaman because he is trying to control. And we have Adam here at the front. Eventually, Adam will fall off, which is fine. It's a legendary unit, and you're going to be able to replace him. So, for example here, if you did get somebody like Batman, hey, that's a perfect spot for him. And he provides attack down, especially if he can apply the debuff. So it gives you a little bit of an advantage, because then you can stay alive. So that's essentially what he is going to do. So here we go. Aquaman is going to bring them all. There goes Batman as well. So he's going to try to do a little bit of damage. Debuff if he can. There goes Green Arrow from the back. So this is exactly the type of composition that your team one would probably be for the first couple of weeks. All right, it would be primarily here at Justice League. Now let's go to the combat cycle. So for this, it's essentially what you are going to want to do is put units together that are going to for you to do as much damage as you can. And then as you start getting into the Bleed Calendar and you start bringing in other heroes, the Mythic Plus heroes into your account, you're going to start evolving that. But here at the very beginning, at least so you can start progressing, you can start collecting some rewards, right? So you get extra, at least in this example here, I'm getting extra alloy. And then as you start going with the other bosses, you're going to get AC/DC shards, you're going to get mother boxes, you're going to get chips. So every time that you start progressing and start getting those resources, it'll just be a lot easier for you to accumulate them. So then you can use them during the Supreme Commander day that they are meant to be used on. But so for this one here, essentially what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to try to keep the team alive and then provide some damage from the back. So let's use these legendaries here. I'm going to use Green Arrow and Red Hood. I think even though Harley Quinn does not have any stars on her, we're going to leave her. We're going to put her up because she does AoE damage. Now, the killer tank has multiple points of attack, so we'll try to take advantage of it. Now, let's assume we did not get a Batman, all right? So, and he doesn't have any stars, so he's not going to apply the attack down. But we could possibly then... So, if we want to keep him alive, I would use maybe another healer if you could collect it, or... In my case here, since I was able to unlock Dr. Fate, and he's also going to be in the daily reward pass, that 7-day pass, he could be one of the characters that is in there for you. So you could possibly unlock him fairly quick as well. So for this one, I'm looking for survivability, so that's exactly what I'm going to use here. So let's try this run. Let's see how well this goes, especially with the legendaries. And then once you start unlocking heroes, you can bring those heroes in. So very early on, if you get Superman, you wanna start using him. You wanna start getting him involved into these type of setups, because that's what he is meant to do. But for my case right now, at least in this very beginner account, I am going to rely on the DPS units that are given to me. So Green Arrow for sure, and somebody like Red Hood, or you saw the other units that I had there. We can definitely use somebody like Black Adam as well, if we wanted to, for something like this. Now, you didn't see me play the tags too much on this, because I was actually looking to make sure that these units stayed alive with all the damage that the tank does. So that's exactly what I was going for. So we're getting some shields. We're getting heals from Mira. We're not getting healed a whole lot, but at least we're doing some damage, which is what we really want to do. Okay, so now here we have him in his vulnerable state. So we're trying to hit as many of those points as we can. All right. I think Harley Quinn got off an ultimate. And we might lose Green Arrow here. We might lose Green Arrow here. Come on, buddy. Stay alive, stay alive. Here we go. That's not bad. He stayed alive. We were able to get it. Now, it's not the top. So definitely my previous run was a little bit better. But at least for this account, this is not bad. We're progressing, right? We're trying to get into the next milestone. So that is definitely not bad. And then, of course, here is the damage type that I did. Now, let me run this again with another hero, and we'll see how well that does. All right, so in this example here, I did a run. There was a little bit more damage done, and the character that I used was Black Adam. So that's another one that you could possibly use to boost a little bit of damage in the combat cycle. He is a very good legendary for stuff like this, so you can definitely rely on him to utilize if you want to push your scores a little bit. Those are kind of the ideas that I can give you in terms right at the beginning, especially with the heroes that you're able to unlock while you're waiting for the bleed to eventually open up, and you're able to get some of those heroes, and you're able to involve them by getting multiple copies. But the starting roster that we have, at least at the beginning here, should allow you to at least progress very well and try to complete as many of these missions here that you can get done, so you can get some rewards, and you can unlock and get more anvils, and try to do as much of the exercises that it tells you to do to advance. And those heroes, that's what they're meant to do as you start evolving your account, right, with all this Mythic Plus heroes. So it was a very good practice for me to kind of go back and look to see what it is that we can get at the beginning, and then go on from there and get it to the point where an almost end gamer or end gamer is able to do, now that all the bleed heroes are added, and start making decisions as to which ones they're going to go for and which ones they're going to investing a lot of in terms, so they're able to push the end game content. So if you're a new player, welcome to the game. I hope that you do enjoy it for what it is. Thank you all very much for tuning and watching. I will see you all in the next video.